Money is not paper. It is not ink. It is not numbers stored in a database. Money is condensed belief, crystallized energy, divine substance compressed into visible form. The world sees it as currency, but I know it as condensed conviction. I have said it before, and I say it again now. Money is God in action, when rightly spoken over. And the one who blesses it with faith does not worship mammon. They command it. There is a sacred stillness that descends when you hold cash in your hand, for that which you touch is not just matter, but mind. And mind obeys the voice of the Spirit. Many fear to touch money because they've been taught it is unclean. But I tell you this, it is the fear of money that keeps it away, not the love of it, but the fear of being powerful in it. When you hold cash, do not look upon it with the eyes of guilt or lack. Look upon it with the eyes of dominion, for it came from God, and to God it returns. A woman once came to me with but $2 to her name. She feared to spend it, for she saw it as her last. But I told her, that is not your last. That is your seed. That is your symbol. Bless it, love it, multiply it with the word. For Jesus Christ did not say, lament over the loaves and fishes. He said, bless them. And in the blessing, they increased. So we took those $2, and I said, we bless the $2. We declare that you have the magic purse of spirit. It can never be depleted. As money goes out, immediately money comes in. Always crammed, jammed with abundance, under grace, in perfect ways. She felt her purse heavy with money, and shortly after, she received a gift of $6,000. It was not the paper that multiplied. It was the word spoken over it that released the abundance. Your word is your was zero floor. Money is obedient when spoken to with reverence and faith. It does not respond to greed or control. It responds to conviction. So when you hold cash, you are not holding a transaction. You are holding a throne. And the question is, who is seated upon it? Lack, fear, hesitation, or the spirit of truth? Every dollar you touch is a servant awaiting instruction. You may dismiss it in silence, or you may bless it with divine speech. The choice is always yours. But hear me well. Until you can hold money without flinching, you will never command it without limitation. For the external reflects the internal. The hand must be steady, and the heart must be clean. When I say this while holding cash, I do not mean superstition. I mean, step into spiritual authorship. Take the word and write your covenant upon the paper, and it shall not return void. Say with me now, this is not my last. This is my first. This is the door, not the dead end. I bless this money. I multiply it with my word. It is God in substance, and it obeys his voice in me. Speak it until your hand tingles with spiritual certainty. Speak it until the wallet trembles with new life. Speak it until fear flees and faith ignites. For you are not begging money to stay. You are summoning it to return multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That is the silent power of physical money when held by a spiritually vocal soul. You have been deceived if you think money is merely paper. You have been misled if you think its value lies in coins or cards or digital numbers blinking on a screen. For the law of substance is this: money is not material, it is metaphysical. It is not a product of banks. It is a projection of belief. Scripture tells us plainly, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Substance, then, is not matter. It is spiritual certainty. It is invisible reality pressed into form. So what is money, if not substance shaped by faith? I say to you now, as I have said before, money is condensed faith. It is the spiritual made usable. It is the invisible crystallized by conviction. It is a sacred symbol of circulation, the divine outpicturing of how you allow God to flow through your belief. Some look at a dollar and see lack. Others look and see control. But the awakened soul looks upon a dollar and sees movement, flow, response, divine echo. It is never the paper that holds power. It is the decree that fills it. You can hold a blank check and still be rich in consciousness. You can clutch a stack of bills and be poorer than the beggar on the street. For substance does not answer to appearance. It answers to speech, to identity, to your spiritual vibration. A woman once told me, "Florence, I feel richer with one spoken dollar than I did with thousands in my account, because now I know what it obeys." And I told her, "You have understood the law. For substance is not what the world prints. It is what the soul commands. Money is not stagnant. It is spiritual circulation. It is divine compensation in motion. And like blood, it flows where the heart is open. Like breath, it enters where fear has been cast out. And like rain, it responds to seed. So do not look at the paper and call it static. Do not curse the coin. For the moment your tongue labels money as evil, dirty, or elusive, you sever your own supply line. You declare against your own dominion. Say instead, "This money is spirit condensed. It is love circulated. It is faith rewarded." Hold the bill and say, "You are not mine. You are God's servant, obeying my decree." This is not poetry. This is power. For until you understand the nature of money as substance, not symbol, you will remain bound by the illusion of shortage. But shortage is not truth. Scarcity is not law. The true law is multiplication. The true law is expansion. The true law is, as you believe, as you speak, so shall it be done unto you. Now hear me well. If money is condensed faith, then the greater your faith, the greater your flow. Do not ask for more dollars. Ask for more dominion. Do not plead for more income. Proclaim your oneness with supply. Your words mold substance. Your faith directs its form. And when you finally speak in alignment with truth, you will find that your wallet is not a container. It is a current. It moves as you speak. It listens when you bless. And it multiplies when you treat it as holy. Let us expose a secret fear, one so common, so concealed, that it hides beneath even the most spiritual intentions. The fear of holding money. Not the fear of not having it, but the fear of having it too long, the fear of keeping it, the fear of being seen with it, the fear of becoming visible in wealth. For most were not raised to receive. They were raised to release, and to release too soon. From childhood we were told, don't flaunt it, don't hold on to it. Easy come, easy go. We were taught that money slips, money burns, money spoils, that money changes people, ruins families, invites judgment. And so even when it comes, there is a secret tremble in the hand. The fingers curl tightly, not in dominion, but in anxiety. Not because they are greedy, but because they are guilty. They have been trained not to possess, not to enjoy, not to retain, only to need and to beg and to apologize for wanting. And so money becomes a visitor, not a resident, a gust, not a grounding. It walks in and is quickly shown the door because no one ever trained you to let it stay. But hear me now. You were not created for barely enough. You were not fashioned for fleeting supply. You were designed for overflow. You were designed to house abundance with dignity and to keep wealth with honor. The emotional tension many feel around holding money is not rooted in truth. It is rooted in ancestral trauma, cultural guilt, and generational programming. Somewhere deep in the soul is a child that learned, if I have too much, I will lose love. Or, if I look rich, they will think I'm bad. Or, if I prosper, I will be alone. So what do? They spend it before it multiplies. They hide it before it blesses. They reject it before it roots. They fear what is good because they were never taught how to hold it without punishment. But I am here to tell you that God does not punish possession. He punishes misuse. And the soul that blesses money with clean hands and pure speech shall not suffer for it, but shall increase by it. It is not dangerous to hold money. It is dangerous to fear it. For what you fear, you repel. And what you bless, you receive. So take the cash in your hand and speak the reversal. I was not made to release too soon. I was made to receive long enough. Say it again with your whole voice. Say it until your nervous system calms. Say it until your fingers stop twitching. Say it until your soul stops apologizing for overflow. For money is not the enemy. Your guilt is. And when you renounce it, when you revoke the lie, when you bless what was once feared, money will stop fleeing and it will start multiplying. When you hold cash in your hand, you are not holding a material object. You are holding a divine extension, a tangible symbol of circulation, a spiritual echo of what you've spoken, believed, and allowed. The money in your palm has no power of its own, but it responds with absolute obedience to the tone of your voice. If you bless it, it multiplies. If you curse it, it flees. If you ignore it, it withers. But if you honor it as divine substance, it shall become your servant, your supply, and your sign. Now listen well. There is no multiplication without instruction, and the tongue is the wand. You do not wait for money to bless you. You bless it first. You speak to it before it moves. You declare over it before it is spent. Your voice trains your currency. Your voice instructs your wallet. And your voice, when aligned with spiritual truth, awakens the law of increase. So take the cash in your hand and say this with full spiritual authority. You are blessed. You are multiplied. You are magnetized. You are divine circulation, and I release you only with praise. This is not a mantra of ego. It is a command of spirit. You are not speaking to paper. You are speaking to the spiritual template behind the paper, the pattern, the blueprint, the unseen root that determines its fruit. Do not say it once and expect dominion. Frequency matters. Rhythm matters. The tongue must be trained like a muscle. You do not lift once and expect strength. You do not speak once and expect overflow. You speak daily. You speak faithfully. You speak as a steward, not a beggar. And your words begin to instruct reality. Your words build patterns, and your patterns attract wealth. Bless the $10 bill with the same tone you would bless a million. Because the law does not respond to amounts. It responds to atmosphere. It responds to the tone of your dominion. Speak to your cash as if it were an honored guest, a divine assignment, a spiritual ally. Say, I don't just spend, I send. I don't just buy, I bless. And you will find that money begins to flow toward the voice that treats it as sacred, not scarce. For what you hold, you mold. And what you bless, you multiply. So speak, and speak often. Speak until the dollars obey. Speak until fear bows. Speak until the cash in your palm glows with spiritual memory of the law it just heard. You have been trained by the world to believe that money multiplies through labor, strategy, and saving. But I tell you now, money multiplies through speech, through reverent instruction, through the spiritual law of multiplication, which predates all human economics and bypasses all worldly logic. This law is not modern. It is eternal. It is divine. It is the same law that Jesus enacted when he took 5 loaves and 2 fish, lifted his voice to heaven, gave thanks, and spoke the blessing. Then, and only then, it multiplied. He did not ask. He did not analyze. He declared. He spoke over the substance until it expanded, and that is the model, the divine template, the metaphysical method. You speak before the overflow, not after. You bless the little and watch it grow. You look at what the world calls not enough, and you speak to it as if it were already multiplied. Let me teach you now the core truth of this law. Your words are vessels. They are containers for increase. And just as a cup holds water, your phrase holds the pattern for provision. When you speak over money with faith, you create a mold for more. You build a landing place for overflow. You command heaven to pour itself into form. Say aloud with me now, my words are vessels, and they return filled. Again, my words are vessels, and they return filled. You must understand this. You are not begging God to send increase. You are building the container with your mouth. and whatever you speak with conviction becomes the structure through which your supply flows. If you say, "There's never enough," you build a tiny bowl. If you say, "I can't hold on to money," you build a sieve. But if you say, "I walk in divine circulation, I release with joy and receive with ease," then you build a well without bottom, a vessel that cannot be emptied. Your substance responds to sound. Your wallet listens to prophecy. Your cash is waiting for assignment. And when you speak over it, not from fear, but from faith, it obeys the vibration and multiplies according to the pattern you declare. So do not wait. Do not withhold your words. Speak over every bill, every coin, every bank notification. Say, "You are not just money. You are blessed substance. You are spoken increase. You are assigned to return multiplied. For this is the tongue of the multiplier. This is the mouth of dominion. And this is the law of multiplication fulfilled by the one who speaks with authority. Now I give you the ritual, not as superstition, but as spiritual alignment. Not as tradition, but as activation. When you speak over cash, you are not performing a trick. You are entering covenant with substance. You are reminding the invisible that you are a vessel of increase. And like the prophet who stretched over the child to bring him back to life, you are stretching your word over the thing the world called dead and commanding it to rise. Let us begin. Step 1. Clean the space. Silence the mind. Do not rush this. Make the place where you speak holy. Light a candle. Clear the clutter. Let the air be still. Turn off the voices of the world and tune yourself to the frequency of heaven. You cannot multiply in noise. You must enter the sanctuary of command. Breathe deep. Let your nervous system drop. Say in your spirit, "This is sacred ground." Step 2. Hold the cash in your left hand. The left hand is the receiving hand, the hand of memory, the hand of soul. As you hold the bill, whether it is a $1 note or a $100 note, recognize it as spiritual substance. Not paper, not government, not decimal, substance. The condensation of faith, the echo of circulation, the answer to a former word now come into form. Honor it. Step 3. Place your right hand over your heart. Your right hand is your sending hand, your command hand, and your heart is the altar. Let them meet. You are joining authority with sincerity. Command with love, decree with purity. Feel your own pulse as you prepare to speak. You are not just saying words, you are announcing to the ethers that multiplication has begun. Step 4. Speak the declaration 7 times. 7 is the number of completion, the number of divine fullness. Do not mumble, do not guess. Speak with clarity and rhythm. You are blessed, multiplied, and magnetized. You are divine supply in motion. Say it 7 times, slowly. Let the syllables sink. Let the rhythm cleanse you. Each repetition is a layer of command, a pouring of oil, a setting of tone. Speak it until your voice no longer trembles, until your spine remembers who you are. You may say it aloud or under your breath, but you must say it with certainty, not asking, not wishing, declaring. Step 5. Close with this phrase, "Amen," and multiply. Let this be the seal, the exhale, the release. Amen means so be it. Multiply is your assignment. You are not begging for increase. You are commanding circulation. You are not proving worth. You are fulfilling law. As you say it, release the cash into your wallet, your altar, your pocket, wherever it is meant to go next. But do not release it without blessing. Do not put it away like the world does. Put it away like the Spirit does, with recognition of its divinity and expectation of its return. This ritual is not a performance. It is a practice of presence. The money in your hand is not waiting for hustle. It is waiting for holiness. When your word touches it, it is not just spent. It is sent. Sent on assignment. Sent to circulate. Sent to echo the voice that blessed it. So do it with reverence. Do it often. Do it every time you receive, give, or pause. The hands that touch money without guilt, and the mouth that speaks blessing without fear, These are the hands and mouth through which multiplication flows. She stood in her kitchen with tears in her eyes and a $10 bill in her hand. It was all that remained. Rent was due, groceries were low. Her hands trembled, not because of the amount, but because of the old voice rising up in her. This isn't enough. This will disappear. You're always behind. But that night, she remembered a phrase, a teaching, a law. She remembered the divine principle I now remind you of. Money is not yours to hoard or fear. It is substance in motion, and it obeys the voice of faith. She cleared the table, lit a candle, held the bill in her left hand, her right over her heart, and she spoke, not to paper, but to principle. 7 times, she declared, "You are blessed, multiplied, and magnetized. You are divine supply in motion." And after the 7th time, she looked at the bill, not with fear, but with reverence. And she said something she had never said before. "You are no longer mine. You are spiritual substance. You are sent. You are sanctified." She placed it in her wallet, kissed it as a mother kisses a child before release, and let it go. She did not obsess. She did not watch the bank app. She watched her words. She guarded her gate. For 3 days, she refused to say lack, refused to speak worry. Every time fear rose, she repeated the phrase, "You are divine supply in motion." On the 4th morning, an email arrived. A company she hadn't thought about in months had issued a refund. Overpayment, they said, from a billing error. The amount? $210. She smiled, not because of the number, but because of the principle. Because heaven had heard the vibration and returned it with interest. Not through labor, through law. She later wrote in her journal, "That bill was no longer mine. It had become the word made form. It had become circulation. It had become prophecy. And so it is for you. The cash in your hand, when spoken over with truth, becomes something altogether different. It becomes a seed of supply, a multiplied sound, a divine servant returning full. When you bless money, you are not merely speaking to your wallet. You are cleansing the energetic river that flows between you and all that is yours by divine right. Most people treat money as if it's something they must chase, clutch, or fear. But I tell you, money is not something to control. It is something to consecrate. And the moment you bless it, you begin to break the silent curse that has followed you for generations. Blessed money becomes bold money. It no longer hides in corners of shame. It no longer slips through your fingers like a guilty secret. It stands tall, multiplies openly, and knows exactly where to go, because it has been spoken over by one who understands that money is a servant of spirit, not a master of men. And when you speak blessing, something else happens. You release guilt. You release the story that says, "I don't deserve this," or "It's wrong to have more." That lie begins to tremble when your mouth opens in truth. For guilt is a clog in the pipe. Shame is a stopper in the flow. But blessing opens the valve. Blessing invites the flood. Blessing says, "This money is holy. This money is clean. This money is mine to move as Spirit directs." To bless your money is to sanctify your relationship with supply. No longer chained to trauma, no longer hidden in fear, no longer whispered about in corners. You become a channel, a conduit. You don't hoard, you circulate. You don't fear, you flow, because you have blessed what the world taught you to curse. Do not forget this. What you bless cannot betray you. What you sanctify cannot shrink. The voice that blesses money also commands it, and the hand that blesses what it holds becomes the hand that receives again and again, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. There are phrases that carry rhythm, and then there are phrases that carry power. Some words dance across the mind and disappear. But there are others, charged, divine, magnetic, that pierce through appearance and build new reality. These are not affirmations for the faint of heart. These are declarations of spiritual dominion. And if you speak them not as begging, but as being, then I tell you, money must obey. Here is the first. Every dollar I touch returns to me multiplied. This is not wishful. It is not metaphor. It is law. You are no longer releasing money into a void. You are sending it on assignment. Just as the rain returns from the heavens to water the earth, so shall every dollar return, not empty, but expanded. You are not losing it. You are loaning it to the law. You are dispatching it to gather its kind. Speak this as a command, and let heaven track its return. Second, I do not chase, I magnetize. The beggar chases. The aligned attract. And you, child of divine supply, were never meant to pursue with panic. You are the magnet. You are the frequency. And when you walk in rhythm with spiritual law, money finds you by identity, not effort. Say this aloud until your breath believes it, until your spine remembers it, until your wallet begins to respond. And third, what I bless, blesses me back. Every time you bless a bill, you authorize its return. Every time you speak love over your supply, you summon its increase. The world told you that money is neutral. I tell you now, it is not. It is responsive. It reflects the tone of its master. So speak to it as sacred. Call it by name, assign it by law, and watch it return, clothed in favor, dripping in multiplication. These three phrases are not to be tested. They are to be trusted. They are not to be said once. They are to be lived. Speak them with authority. Walk with them in silence. And every time you hold money, remember, you're not holding paper. You're holding proof of the word in motion. Stand before your mirror, not as one desperate, but as one destined. In your left hand, hold the symbol of substance, a bill, a note, a dollar that carries the history of circulation. In your right hand, hold your heart. Feel it beat. Know that it is not lack you were born into, but law. Not begging, but becoming. The mirror before you is not a surface. It is a signal, a gate, a place where form meets faith and appearance must yield to authority. And the money in your hand? It is not yours to fear. It is yours to speak over. Look into your own eyes and say these words. This reflection is wealth returning to me in every form. Say it again. Not as routine, but as resurrection. You are not speaking into glass. You are speaking into God. For every reflection carries the echo of the one who formed you. And when you see your face beside divine supply, you are reminded the one who touches this money is not random, not rejected, but chosen. Speak directly to your own face. You are the image of abundance. You are the voice of increase. You are the expression of spiritual circulation. Then lower your gaze and speak to the cash. You are blessed, you are bold, you are assigned, you return multiplied. Lift your eyes again and close the circuit. I see favor, I speak favor, I attract favor. This is not performance, it is programming. It is not superstition, it is spiritual saturation. And when done with rhythm, reverence, and faith, the cash mirror activation rewrites both your reflection and your reception. No more speaking lack into the air. No more hiding your eyes from the truth. From this moment, your voice leads. Your image agrees. Your finances follow. Every time you speak the word of supply, the shadow will try to speak back. Doubt is a thief of rhythm. It enters not with a roar, but with a whisper. What if it doesn't work? That voice, familiar, logical, even protective, does not come from divine mind. It is the echo of appearances, the residue of past failures, the lingering illusion that what is visible holds more power than what is spoken. But I tell you, when doubt appears, it is not time to think. It is time to substitute. The mind may question, but the mouth must command. The law of substitution is your sword. It is the divine override. You do not entertain the fear. You replace it. You do not negotiate with lack. You speak truth in its place. And here is the phrase to plant in the soil of every fearful thought. This word never returns void. Say it slowly. Say it loudly. Say it as if your whole lineage is listening. Because it is. This sentence is not comfort. It is contract. It is taken straight from Scripture. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. Isaiah 55:11. When you speak with this law in your bones, the fear must dissolve. The question must fall. The appearance must shift. Fear says, "What if this is foolish?" You say, "This word never returns void." Fear says, "But I've spoken before and nothing happened." You say, "This word never returns void." Fear says, "You don't deserve abundance." You say, "This word never returns void." You see, the law is not emotional. It is exact. It does not reward tears. It responds to truth. So when doubt appears, substitute immediately. Do not linger. Do not explain. Do not fight with shadows. Replace them. And soon, you will find that the very thought which once triggered fear now triggers faith. You cannot afford to speak casually anymore. The age of idle words is over. The mouth is not a toy, it is a throne. Every sentence you speak either multiplies or subtracts. There is no neutral language in the kingdom of spiritual law. When you speak lack, even in jest, you authorize delay. When you say, "I'm broke, I can't afford it," money doesn't grow on trees. You are not just expressing frustration. You are sowing a field of famine, and the harvest will obey your mouth. But when you speak only multiplication, supply, and release, you align your words with divine circulation. You turn the tongue from a weapon of worry into a wand of wealth. You build momentum with your mouth. Here is your training. Do not describe lack. Do not echo fear. Do not repeat phrases that curse your own supply. Instead, condition your mouth to prophesy provision. I am a walking vessel of divine increase. Money flows through me and back to me, blessed and multiplied. Every dollar I touch expands. I bless my bills. I speak to my wallet. I declare overflow. When your mouth is disciplined, your life becomes deliberate. This is not about forcing belief. This is about forming a habit of truth. The more you speak multiplication, the more you see it. The more you see it, the more you bless it. The more you bless it, the more it returns, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Watch your words, beloved. Every joke, every aside, every casual curse you place upon your own money is a reversal, but every declaration of faith is a seed. And the law does not mock you. It fulfills what you speak. Your words are gates, and some gates must never be opened again. There are phrases that may feel harmless, even relatable, but they are poison dipped in familiarity. These are the phrases that block supply, delay manifestation, and invite stagnation, and they must be banished from your vocabulary forever. The first? I can't afford that. This is not humility. This is limitation dressed as logic. When you speak these words, you announce to divine substance, there is no way. But the moment you say it, you close the door to unexpected channels. Instead, speak the law. If it is mine by divine right, it appears in perfect time. The second? Money goes too fast. This is the language of leaky consciousness. You are declaring instability, insecurity, and fear of loss. And what you fear, you magnetize. Replace it with, money flows to me richly and remains under divine direction. And the most dangerous of all? I'm broke. To declare this is not to describe a condition. It is to accept an identity. Broke is not your name. Lack is not your inheritance. Never again attach the I am to anything you do not wish to embody. Instead, declare, I am a vessel of supply. I am divinely funded at all times. These phrases are not just bad habits, they are verbal contracts with insufficiency. And the law cannot bring abundance to a consciousness locked in contradiction. You cannot serve both truth and tradition. Cancel every phrase that echoes lack. Replace it with rhythm, law, and divine certainty. Train your tongue, and the world will respond. Because money does not just follow work, it follows word. He was down to his last few bills. Rent was due in 4 days. The temptation to panic, to plead, to spiral into old thought loops clawed at his mind. He had been here before. The fear, the shame, the bargaining with heaven. But this time, he did something different. He took the cash in his hand, closed the door, and said aloud, "This is not just rent. This is seed." He had read the principle that spoken word blesses substance, that your words are not commentary, they are causation. So he blessed the bills. He thanked God for supply. He whispered, "This multiplies under grace and in perfect ways." And he repeated it, not with begging, but with spiritual certainty. Within 48 hours, an old client reached out. A friend had referred him without being asked. A new project was offered, and the deposit covered twice what rent required. There was no stress, no scrambling, only a flow that came through the channel of faithful speech. You see, he didn't just speak over money. He rewrote what money meant. It was no longer survival. It became signal, evidence that divine mind was moving, responding, releasing. His rent money became more than enough because his mouth declared it as such. The world would have told him to hold tight, to fear, to wait. But divine law says, "Speak to the seed and call forth the harvest." And so he did. Let this be your reminder. You are never down to your last. You are always holding possibility. And when you name it as seed, it knows how to multiply. Fear makes people grab. Fear makes people grip. Fear whispers, "You better hold on tight. This might be the last." And in that moment of spiritual panic, they unknowingly cut off the flow. Money is not meant to be hoarded. It is meant to be moved, blessed, declared, circulated. And anything that is forced into stillness by fear begins to decay in consciousness. I say unto you, don't clutch, declare. The law of circulation is divine. Just as blood must move, just as breath must flow, so too must money pass through hands anointed by faith. And if your hand is clenched in fear, there is no room to receive. But when you release with blessing, when you spend in rhythm with trust, you trigger the law that says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." Each time you spend, even on the smallest item, do not allow dread to speak first. Do not let the ego say, "There it goes." Instead, speak boldly. What leaves multiplies. Say it at the register. Say it when you tap your card. Say it as you bless your rent, your groceries, your giving. This returns multiplied under grace. Because the truth is this: you never truly spend money. You send it. You circulate it. You assign it. And your word is the envelope that determines its return. Let your circulation be conscious. Let your giving be joyful. Let your mouth bless every outflow. For what you bless cannot disappear. It is already on its way back to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. The last voice you hear before sleep is the architect of your tomorrow. And most people lie down in fear, in calculation, in mental rehearsal of lack. They fall asleep clutching spreadsheets of scarcity, rehearsing conversations rooted in debt. And then they wonder why they rise weary, anxious, dry. But I tell you, there is another way. You can sleep in the atmosphere of supply. You can fall into rest while your mind is soaking in the truth of abundance. Here is the ritual, simple, sacred, supernatural. Before bed, clear your space. Set the tone with silence or soft gratitude. Then, take a bill of any amount, $1 or $100. It makes no difference. It is not about the number, but the faith in the symbol. Place it gently under your pillow, not as superstition, but as a point of contact. As you lie down, place your right hand over your heart. Close your eyes and speak aloud. I lay down in increase. I rest in divine provision. I rise in multiplied favor. Let these be the final words your subconscious hears before descending into deep sleep. You are not falling asleep in hope. You are falling asleep in truth. You are not begging supply. You are embedding supply into your inner chambers. Overnight, the subconscious, which never sleeps, begins to organize reality to match your word. Opportunities begin moving. Invisible channels begin forming. But most importantly, your vibration lifts because you have chosen to rest, not in logic, but in law. The world may lay down in lack, but you will lay down in increase. You will train the silence of the night to echo abundance. You will make your bedroom a sanctuary of supply, and by morning, you will find yourself wrapped in divine response. Sleep, child of God, not with doubt in your mouth, but with declaration on your lips. For 7 days, you are invited into a sacred experiment, not one of striving or effort, but of holy declaration. Each morning, before the distractions of the world find you, before logic and memory come knocking, I want you to reach for any amount of cash. It does not matter how small. A crumpled 5, a single bill, a lone coin. What matters is not the amount, but the authority with which you speak. Hold the money gently in your hand, and with your other hand laid over your chest, your spiritual altar, declare this. This cash is holy, and it multiplies by my word. Say it with reverence. Say it with rhythm. Say it until the sound shakes something in your chest. Say it until the dollar in your hand no longer looks the same, because you have spiritually upgraded it with your vibration. Do this for 7 days. One phrase, one act. No begging, no analysis. Just the discipline of dominion. And as you speak it, watch how life responds. Watch how provision appears in unexpected places. Watch how fear loses its voice. Watch how even the smallest purchases carry the scent of favor. This is not a ritual of superstition. This is alignment in practice. You are not speaking to impress God. You are speaking to remind yourself that you are in covenant with law, and law responds. For 7 days, make this your altar, a hand, a dollar, a phrase. This cash is holy, and it multiplies by my word. And when the week ends, it won't just be the money that multiplies. It will be your identity. There is one final wall that must come down before the floodgates of supplies swing open, and it is not outside of you. It is not the government, the employer, the market, or the parent. The most stubborn block is guilt. The most hidden dam is shame. And the most expensive price you'll ever pay is unforgiveness toward yourself. You say you want abundance, but part of you still believes you're unworthy to receive. You remember the poor choices. You recall the overdrafts, the debt, the fear-driven spending. You've whispered, "I should have known better," more times than you've spoken truth. But I say to you now, none of that disqualifies you from divine supply. Your past does not cancel your permission. Your missteps do not nullify your right. God does not consult your financial history before opening the storehouse. So right now, release it. Place your hand over your heart and declare with me, I forgive myself, I release myself, I redeem this vessel for divine circulation. Say it again. I forgive myself for wasting money. I forgive myself for fearing money. I forgive myself for believing I could lose what God gave me. Forgiveness is not passive. It is a spiritual command that unfreezes the flow. When you forgive, you remove the static from the supply line. When you forgive, money is no longer repelled by your vibration. It returns. It expands. It responds. Do not let the memory of lack rob you of the moment of now. The divine has no interest in punishing your past. It is only concerned with whether you will speak now, whether you will bless now, whether you will receive now. Spoken release equals new circulation, so say it, mean it, let the dam break, forgive, and be made financially whole. Do not despise your little, for it is not how much you hold, but how you behold it. The Master himself, Jesus, our metaphysical teacher, stood before 5 loaves and 2 fish. A multitude watched, and the disciples panicked. Their eyes saw lack, their minds saw limitation. But Jesus, the great demonstrator of divine law, did not ask for more. He spoke over what he had. He looked up. He gave thanks. He blessed what was already in his hands. And in that moment of spoken blessing, the natural submitted to the supernatural. Multiplication began, not after more arrived, but after the word was spoken. This is not folklore. This is not myth. This is a law. Jesus did not model miracles for entertainment. He modeled the multiplication of spiritual substance through the power of spoken agreement. He never begged for more. He never waited to feel ready. He knew that blessing the few was the key to feeding the many. So I say to you now, do not wait for your bank account to grow before you speak wealth. Do not wait for the raise, the refund, the miracle check in the mail. Speak now. Bless now. Multiply now. What you hold is not the end. It is the entry point. It is your loaves. It is your fish. Place your hand over your purse, your wallet, your handful of cash. Look up and speak. I bless what I have. I multiply what I hold. I give thanks, and it returns to me full. In the eyes of the world, you may look empty, but in the realm of spirit, gratitude is the womb of wealth. And the moment you bless, you break the illusion of not enough. Jesus did not wait for more. He thanked God for less, and that is when heaven released overflow. Every time you spend money, you speak a truth or a lie. You either say, "There's not enough," or you say, "This returns multiplied." There is no neutral transaction. Every swipe, every click, every cash handoff is either a spiritual contraction or an expansion of faith. And if you do not speak over your spending, your subconscious will speak for you, usually in the language of fear, guilt, or lack. But I tell you now, as a practitioner of divine law, you must sanctify your circulation. You must speak as you spend. When money leaves your hand, it does not vanish. It does not die. It obeys the law of circulation. It moves, it works, it travels through unseen paths, and if you bless it, it returns, not as it was, but multiplied by the faith that sent it. That is why I instruct you, every time you release money, say aloud, "This returns multiplied. I spend with joy. I receive with power. Money is my servant, and it returns to me trained in abundance." Do not wait until the bank is empty to become conscious. Practice at the grocery store, at the gas station, in the coffee shop. Turn your spending into scripture. Speak truth as the receipt prints. Bless the bill as you tip. And watch the universe keep the ledger, for it does. You may be unseen in the store, but heaven hears what you say when you buy. You are either a spiritual hoarder or a holy circulator. There is no middle ground. So today, declare, I am the voice of multiplication. I speak and money obeys. What leaves my hand returns in divine form. The law is not mocked. The mouth is not silent. Speak as you spend, and the world must return your word fulfilled. There was a woman who dreaded the due date. Every month, her hands would tremble as she clicked Pay Now. The rent, the utilities, the groceries, each transaction felt like loss. Each payment felt like proof that she was shrinking, not expanding. Her mouth, though silent, repeated an old inner phrase, "I never get ahead," and what you say in silence still echoes in the unseen. But then came a shift. She heard the word, "Speak as you spend." She resisted at first. It felt foolish. But the next time she paid a bill, instead of fear, she opened her mouth with faith and said, "This bill is paid in love. This money circulates and returns multiplied. I am not losing. I am sowing into divine flow." That one sentence broke the tension. She kept speaking it, over the electric bill, the rent, even while buying toothpaste. She declared wealth even as the numbers dropped. Within 3 weeks, her supervisor called her into the office. Unexpectedly, she was offered a raise, retroactive to the start of the month. She hadn't asked, she hadn't begged, but she had spoken, and her mouth, once a mirror of fear, had become a magnet for divine increase. She said to me with tears in her eyes, "It wasn't magic. It was the law. My mouth became a magnet, not a mirror. Her story is not rare, it is proof. Proof that what you say while you release is what determines what returns. Money doesn't respond to silence, it responds to spirit. And your spirit is encoded in your word. So if you want more, speak more. Not in volume, but in vibration. Not with desperation, but with dominion. And remember, you do not pay bills. You speak provision, and the world rearranges itself to obey. There is a rhythm in heaven and a rhythm in your mouth. When those two align, the world must yield. Words are not mere sounds, they are spiritual forces. They go out and prepare the way, shape the form, break the dam, and summon the flow. If you wish to multiply money, do not just count it, command it. Now we enter the sacred rhythm. 7 declarations, encoded with spiritual law. Speak them aloud. Speak them often. Speak them like a priest in a holy economy. Let your voice be the vault that opens unseen doors. 1. My money listens to my mouth. Every dollar you hold responds to voice. It is not inanimate. It is a reflection of your command. When you speak increase, you train the substance. 2. What I touch turns to treasure. You are not cursed. You are not behind. You are a blessing in human form, and everything under your touch becomes provision. 3. I magnetize supply. You do not chase. You do not strive. You are a divine field that pulls the needed, the appointed, the abundant toward your being. 4. No good thing is withheld. You walk under open heavens. God is not stingy. The universe is not bankrupt. There is no lack in the storehouse of spirit. 5. Cash obeys divine order. It does not scatter in chaos. It does not vanish in fear. It finds its proper path by the law of increase and returns to the source that blessed it. 6. My word multiplies what I hold. What's in your hand may look small, but if your word is big, your future expands. Speak over the little, and it shall become much. 7. I am a speaking vault of increase. You are not empty. You are not weak. You are a temple of provision, a vault of divine riches, and the key is your word. Repeat these often, before you buy, before you spend, before you fear. Speak them while you hold cash. Speak them before sleep. Speak them into the atmosphere. And let it be known, heaven listens when you declare. The vault opens, the flow begins, and the world bends to your spiritual decree. Now we come to the hour of agreement, the midnight moment where all that has been heard becomes what is now declared. For what is ritual but remembrance, and what is remembrance but power reawakened? You will stand, not as a beggar, but as a master of divine law. You will hold, not lack, not debt, but the substance of faith wrapped in paper. And you will speak, not to impress, not to pretend, but to command. Go to your mirror. Go at midnight, the symbolic hour of transition, where one day ends and another begins. This is not superstition. This is alignment. For midnight represents the unseen, the hidden place where seeds break before they rise. You will take the cash, yes, even a single dollar, and you will hold it in your hands as sacred. Look into your eyes. Do not flinch. Do not blink. Let your gaze be holy. And when silence wraps the room, say this aloud. In my hands wealth obeys the word. Through my mouth, abundance is commanded. I now multiply by faith, not fear. Let it settle. Let it echo. Let the room remember it. Let your body record it. Say it 3 times, each one with deeper breath, with broader spine, with truer knowing. This is not about the mirror. This is not about the cash. This is about training your temple to vibrate at the frequency of overflow. It is about letting the word become flesh and wealth. And no demon of doubt may cross the threshold once this ritual is spoken in full belief. And when you wake, do not ask, "Where is it?" Say instead, "It is already in motion." Heaven heard you. Your supply obeys. The multiplication begins now. He had $20 to his name, not just in his wallet, but in his life. $20 and the weight of shame that comes with wondering if you failed. Rent was due. Phone calls were avoided. The mind raced through all the old programming. You're irresponsible. You'll never get ahead. Maybe you weren't meant for more. But this time, he did not repeat the curse. He remembered what I said. Every dollar is a spiritual soldier. You don't count it, you bless it. So he did not scold the 20. He sanctified it. He laid the bill out on his desk, smooth and straight, like a seed ready for planting. He placed both hands over it, not to hold, but to speak, and with a steady voice he declared, "You are blessed, you are multiplied, you are magnetized, you are not my last, you are my link." He repeated it 7 times, slowly, rhythmically, with reverence, not desperation. That night he slept, not in fear, but in faith. The next morning, an old friend sent a message. "I've been thinking about your business. Can I send a few clients your way?" By the end of the week, his calendar was full, his phone was ringing, and his fear had vanished like mist under morning sun. But it wasn't just business. His posture changed. He stopped apologizing for his needs. He stopped over-explaining his worth. His relationships softened. His spine straightened. Because the moment he blessed that $20, he wasn't waiting to be rich. He was already rich in command. The amount did not matter. The word did. The 20 was never meant to stay. It was meant to obey. And it did. Bless your money, not because you're broke, but because it belongs to God. Speak not from scarcity, but from spiritual dominion. And remember, every dollar listens, every dollar learns, every dollar returns. Now I invite you, beloved, not just to hear this truth, but to live it. If these words have found you, if they stirred something holy in your chest, then let your first act of alignment be this. Speak it into the comments below. I bless what I hold. I multiply what I speak. Write it not as a gesture, but as a decree. Let the written word mirror your spoken word. Let heaven and algorithm alike agree with your declaration. You are not subscribing to a channel. You are subscribing to the spoken life. Each time you return here, you return to yourself. You return to your source. You return to the rhythm of multiplication that has been yours since the foundation of the world. So return daily, speak boldly, hold your money with reverence, and remember, your mouth is the mold of your miracle. Say the word and watch it return full.